What up, everybody? The BMF Season 3 finale trailer has T on the phone in Detroit communicating with Meech back in Atlanta and letting him know that their mom and pops were officially calling it quits. This was after Charles just got a break of a lifetime in episode 9, going on tour across the Midwest and the East Coast with the gospel group the Campbell Brothers, after performing with them in episode 8 and after they heard him in the studio at the beginning of episode 9. But Charles hadn't yet made the decision to go or not because he still had hopes of winning back his wife, Lucille. And Charles must have been thinking going on an 8-week tour without her could be the end of their marriage because the fact she's already seeing another man. And we saw T doing something very similar in episode 9, bringing Keisha with him on the business trip to Miami when he shouldn't have. And when they got into the argument, we found out the real reason why he brought her. It was because he didn't want to worry about her hooking up with Vince while he was out of town. So like they say, like father, like son. But Charles also wanted Lucille to go with him on the tour so they could have the honeymoon they never had, staying in the nice hotels, eating at fancy restaurants, and traveling across the country. Honestly, if Lucille was willing, this could have been a great way for them to restore their relationship. But Lucille finally broke the hard truth to Charles that she wasn't going to be able to go with him or work to restore their marriage for that matter, because she had fallen in love with Maurice. This was after earlier in the episode, Maurice took Lucille out for dinner where there was a hotel attached and gave Lucille the key to the room. And again, when they were about to hook up, Lucille stopped him. And keep in mind what Maurice told her, that he loved her and he always loved her and that he was willing to wait as long as it takes. But part of the reason why Lucille probably wants to move forward with the divorce sooner rather than later is because she feels guilty about going all the way with the doctor while still being legally married to Charles. So the initial reason that Charles and Lucille got separated was because of Charles' affair with Mabel. But that's not why Lucille decided to move forward with the divorce. She said if she got back with Charles, she felt like she'd be giving up on herself. But at the same time, if Maurice never showed up in the picture, I think most likely Charles and Lucille would already been back together by now. Getting me to the question, is Maurice simply playing Lucille? Or possibly, might there be a side of Maurice that we haven't seen yet? But one more thing to keep in mind is that the pastor of Lucille's new church asked Lucille to be the assistant pastor. And a good part of this was because the fact Lucille was a family woman, in addition to the $10,000 check she got from Maurice. So when Lucille divorces Charles, it could possibly put an end to that opportunity as well. Then keep it in mind that the pastor also told a story in Lucille's living room about getting pregnant with her son at 19 to a man she knew would never be her husband. Is there any chance that Maurice is the pastor's baby daddy? Keep it in mind that she was reconnected with Maurice as somewhere she was at volunteering for the church. Because we know nothing about Maurice's backstory and what he's been doing for all those years. And if Maurice isn't connected to the pastor, could he have his own wife and family back in Cleveland while he's courting Lucille in Detroit? While she's ending her marriage and separating her family, Maurice just might be trying to hook up with her one time after she broke his heart in high school and keep it moving back to his own family. And also keep in mind that Maurice has tried hooking up with Lucille in his office, at a hotel, and in his car. And this does make sense because he's in Detroit working in Cleveland. But at the same time, Cleveland is only a 2-hour drive from Detroit. So either though I wouldn't be surprised that Maurice is playing Lucille one way or another. But as I proceed with this video, I'm going to go with Maurice being a sincere man who is simply trying to win back his lost love. Maurice has already met T when he delivered his and Wanda's daughter. But there was drama going on with Wanda at the time that caused T to get upset, and Maurice made the mistake trying to calm him down and calling him son. The next time T spoke with Lucille privately, he made sure to let Lucille know that if anybody wasn't part of their family, it was Maurice. So because of that, when T and Meech find out that Lucille's divorcing Charles to be with Maurice, they're going to be big mad. Nicole, on the other hand, I think she'll be fine with her parents getting divorced. Keep it in mind that when she went to eat with Charles, she told him she would never let Breeze treat her like Charles treated Lucille. She also told Charles just to leave way back in season 2 when Lucille started smashing his guitar. So Nikki Ben saw the writing on the wall where Meech and T were still holding out hope that their parents would get back together. And we're going to see how this actually influences them, if it does at all, being older than what they actually were in real life when their parents got divorced. Because the documentary said that they took their parents' divorce so hard it was actually a big reason why they jumped off the porch in the first place. So because of this, and if Maurice is actually sincere as he says he is, I think the next thing he's going to try to do is go talk to T at his diner and have a man-to-man with Terry about moving forward in a relationship with his mother. Now keep in mind at the end of episode 9, Henry gunned down Hoop outside the diner and told him, while he was on the ground bleeding out, to tell Terry he's next. So this means Henry isn't done with BMF, and we can expect to see her coming for T in the finale. So because of this, I can definitely see a situation playing out where Maurice gets taken out by Henry, either as a case of mistaken identity or being at the wrong place at the wrong time type thing. Keeping in mind that he just happened to be at the right place at the right time to connect with Lucille in the first place. Because this was the early 90s where there was no social media or internet to find someone you haven't seen in years. One scenario could be that Maurice might even save the life of T. When Henry fires at T, he could get in front of the bullet and take the bullet for Terry. Or as Henry's watching the diner, she sees Maurice and Terry talking and assumes that Maurice is T's father and follows him somewhere to kill him. But also keep in mind that Bryant also told Henry everything he knew about Terry Flannery. And because of this, we could see Henry try to send the ultimate message to T if she isn't able to get to him directly by targeting Lucille. And this wouldn't be the first time that Lucille's been targeted. Lamar also showed up to kill her in season 2 and she prayed him away. What if this time Henry comes for Lucille in the same way that Lamar did, but instead of praying her away, maybe Maurice will step in and take the bullet, similar to how Darius saved Nikki from Lamar in season 1. Keeping in mind that they did bring this up earlier in the season when Nikki brought the box cutter to school, and neither Charles or Lucille was able to really relate to what she was going through at the time. So if something similar happens to Maurice, this could be a way Nikki and Lucille could bond moving forward, because right now they don't have a very good relationship. But by what we can see about the real life Nikki and Lucille, they seem to be very close. And at the same time, I do think that Nikki will end up marrying Breeze and get a happy ending at the end of the story, because in real life she's married to this day with 2 kids, one of them even being named after his uncle Meech. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.